A pleasant good afternoon from Monrovia Royal Communications Incorporated, and welcome to King's Newsroom. King's Newsroom is a 45 minutes of news about Liberia, Africa, and our one world. Today is Thursday, January 16, 2025. My name is Cornelius Johnson, presenting this after lunch edition of the program King's Newsroom. Stories we are closely following in the headlines. Executive Mansion justifies the indefinite suspension of the chairperson of the National Elections Commission, Deviator Brown Lassana, says she was disruptive to public trust and stability, causing series of protests at the commission. Unity Party government launches its 5 years, $3.38 billion development plan called the arrest agenda in Buchanan Grand Bassa County, with the development partners expected to contribute 70% of that amount. Former Liberian President and War Icon George Weah is currently in Nimba County for the funeral of Senator Prince Johnson. And away from Liberia, Mozambique's new president Daniel Chapo has been sworn in at a local key ceremony in the capital Maputo that was marred by an opposition boycott following heavily disrupted elections. The news bulletin voices of the newsmakers are all coming up in today's edition of King's Newsroom. But let's take a very short break. When we come back, we'll bring you the news bulletin with Stephen Konton.
President Joseph Boakai has suspended the National Elections Commission chairperson, David Eto Brown Lassanan, for time indefinite. An executive mansion release issued Wednesday said the suspension of Madam Brown Lassanan follows action deemed disruptive to public trust and stability. The executive mansion also mentioned that the NEC boss suspension was driven through an investigation into recent protests by aggrieved NEC workers regarding administrative decision taken without proper consultation. It further noted that investigative findings has established that Madam Davis Eto Brown Lassanan unilaterally announced the closure of the NEC office for 1 month and dismissed 25 employees without the knowledge or approval of the Board of Commissioners as required by law. The executive mansion release further cited Section 2.1 and Section 2.1D of the 1986 new election law, which vests the authority to conduct NEC affairs as a collective body. According to the release, the law mandates that decisions involving corrective measures against employees must be taken in consultation with the board, not by chairperson or individual commissioner acting alone. In a related development, the Rule of Law Caucus of the House of Representatives has described as troubling the indefinite suspension of the chairperson of the National Elections Commission, Madam Davis Eto Brown Lassanan. President Joseph Boakai on Wednesday announced her suspension from an investigation into a series of protests by aggrieved workers of the National Elections Commission and taking unilateral decision without proper consultation. According to President Boakai, Madam Davis Eto Brown Lassanan unilaterally closed the Commission's office for 1 month and dismissed 25 employees without the approval of the Board of Commissioners as required by law. The House of Representatives Caucus Chair Musa Beriti said members of the Rule of Law Caucus in the House of Representatives view President Boakai's action as deeply alarming, one of that undermines the foundation of Liberia's democracy and threatens to erode the progress the country has fought for so hard. The National Election Commission was established as a turning institution under the Constitution to safeguard it from political interference. The Supreme Court of Liberia has ruled that the suspension of the turning officials is tantamount to their removal. According to Representative Musa Bediti, President Boyka suspending indefinitely the chairperson of the National Election Commission sets a dangerous precedent in which the independence of institution mandated to ensure fairness and transparency is compromised at the executive. The government of Liberia has launched its Arrest and County Development Fund agendas, something the government considers as a roadmap to enhance Liberia's developmental progress. Speaking during the launch in Buchanan, Grand-Bassa County Wednesday, President Joseph Boyka said his government's Arrest agenda will ensure the continued implementation of the country's Vision 2040, which is aimed at securing a brighter future for every Liberian. He outlined inclusiveness, accountability, and the respect for the rule of law as strategies his administration will employ through the Arrest agenda to shift and address ongoing challenges in the country. According to President Boyka, Liberia's poor infrastructure development and high wave of poverty across the country, despite being addressed through the Arrest agenda. He added, with the abundant resources of Liberia's citizens, can be assured of changing the narratives on his administration through innovative and transformative initiatives. Senator Amara Collins says he welcomed the Liberia Revenue Fiscal Year 2024 performance outturn, but with reservation. According to Senator Amara Collins, he is waiting on the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning final fiscal expenditure outturn duty to work while key institutions like the Emirate Hospital and other health centers across Liberia did not receive their full appropriations. Senator Augustine Chie has condemned the apologies rendered by Senator Abraham Darros Dillon to former President Joshua for criticizing him for using private jet during his 6 year regime. Senator Dillon last week said he was apologizing to the former president for lack of knowledge when it was in opposition on the use of private jet. Senator Augustine Chie described Dillon's apologies as a sad data code and a man who does not have the spine or balls to criticize former as President Joseph Boyka, who is now using a private aircraft at the expense of taxpayers' money. According to Senator Chie, it was never an honest apology, but deception and political chicanery by Senator Darros Dillon. He said there was lack of sincerity and genius remorse and a clever attempt to manipulate public perception as there has been a huge public disapproval of him. Still with more developments, the United States District Court for Southern District of Florida has extended Stanton Witherspoon's surrender date for his 41-month prison sentence. Witherspoon, the CEO of Spoon Network, now until April 23 to report to federal custody, a 90-day extension from the original January 23 this year deadline. U.S. Judge Rollin Smith approved the request following a motion filed by Witherspoon lawyer Annabelle Nunley, who argued that the extension was necessary to facilitate Stanton Witherspoon's ongoing cooperation with federal authorities. At his sentencing in November 20, 23, the court acknowledged his cooperation and did not factor it into his sentence, leaving room for a potential reduction depending on the outcome of his assistance. Lawyer Nanlord said Witherspoon complied with all the bounds conditions and assured the court of his low flight risk and non-threatening status to the community. Assistant United States Attorney Christopher Clark did not oppose the motion and authorized Witherspoon lawyer to inform the court of the government's agreement. A group on the Biden Strategic Journalist Committee of Liberia has condemned the alleged act on Thomas, a worker in the office of Imbato, that Speaker Kofa. Andre was arrested by officer of the Liberia National Police and NSA on suspicion of the 2024 December 18 Capitol building fire outbreak, which have left huge damage to portion of the House of Representatives. Following his arrest and detention, Thomas has complained of being badly tortured to falsely confess and incriminate in battle House Speaker of COFAD, Representative Frank Safoko, Dixon Sibu, and CDC National Chairman Janka Kaur as individuals who masterminded plans to burn the Capitol building. Speaking to King Athens afternoon talk show, head of the Strategic Journalist Committee, Redelin Fayad, challenged the Liberia National Police to provide material evidence to back their allegation against those accused to have burned the Capitol building. According to him, it is important that Liberia National Police and the National Security Agency desist from torturing of suspects and forward them to wield of necessary evidence. Fayad at the same time described as total failure the first year of the Boy Khaled administration. Well, that's the news bulletin. It's back to you.
And many thanks to Stephen Konton there with our news bulletin. If you're just joining us, you are listening to King's Newsroom, 45 minutes of news about Liberia, Africa, and our one world. Stories we are closely following in the headlines. Executive Marshal justifies the indefinite suspension of the chairperson of the National Elections Commission, David Etta Brown Lassana, says she was disruptive to public trust and stability, causing series of protests at the commission. Unity Party government launches its 5 years, $3.38 billion development plan called the Arrest Agenda in Buchanan-Grand-Bassa County, with development partners expected to contribute 70% of that amount. Former Liberian president and war icon George Weah is expected to be in Nimba County this weekend for the funeral of Senator Prince Johnson. And away from Liberia, Mozambique's new president, Daniel Chapo, has been sworn in at a low-key ceremony in the capital, Maputo, that was made by an opposition boycott following heavily disruptive elections. We take a very short break. When we come back, we'll bring you the voices of the newsmakers. Many thanks for being there and welcome back to King's News Broom. Today's development now, the government of Liberia has launched its Arrest and County Development Fund agendas, something the government considers as a roadmap to enhance Liberia's developmental process. Speaking during the launch in Buchanan on Wednesday, President Bouaka said his government's arrest agenda will ensure the continual implementation of the country's Vision 2040, which is aimed at securing a better future for every Liberian. He outlined inclusiveness, accountability, and the respect of the rule of law as strategies his administration will employ through the arrest agenda to shape and address ongoing challenges in the country.
Today, we embark on a new chapter in Liberia's history, the launch of the arrest agenda, inclusive development, AAID. Our focus to conflict national development plan and 15-county development agenda. At least this is the first time I have seen the county development agenda. I want to thank the minister for the courage to do this. This moment represents not just a plan, but a shared vision and a bold commitment and a renewed sense of purpose to secure continuous implementation of Liberia Vision 2030, leading to brighter future for every Liberian. The AAID serves as a roadmap to help elevate Liberia from the current challenges and guide it towards becoming a lower middle income country. The plan builds on the lesson learned and accomplishment of previous initiatives, including poverty reduction strategy, the agenda for transformation, the pro-core agenda for prosperity and development. It presents innovative solutions that prioritize inclusiveness, sustainability, justice, governance, and equality. Our nation is rich in resources, yet we continue to face significant challenges such as high unemployment, low literacy rates, widespread poverty, poor infrastructure, and structural inequalities. These issues have fueled instability and hindered our growth. We must together take deliberate actions to address these challenges effectively.
He's President Joseph Bouaka there in Buchanan Grand Bassa County when the government launched the arrest agenda. A group under the Banda Strategic Journalists Committee of Liberia has condemned the alleged torturing of Thomas Etheridge, a worker in the office of Imbato House Speaker Councillor Fonati Kofa, by agents of the National Security Agency. Etheridge was arrested by officers of the Liberian National Police and NSA on suspicion of the 2024 December 18th Capitol building fire outbreak, which have left huge damage to a portion of the House of Representatives. Following his arrest and detention, Etheridge has complained of being badly tortured to forcibly confess and incriminate Imbato House Speaker Kofa, Representative Frank Safoko, Dixon Sibo, and CDC National Chairman Jankako as individuals who masterminded plans to burn the Capitol building. Speaking on King's FM's afternoon talk show, head of the Strategic Journalists Committee, Woodozen Fire challenged the Liberian National Police to provide material evidence to back their allegations against those accused to have burned the Capitol building.
Today, we embark on a new chapter in Liberia's history, the launch of the arrest agenda, inclusive development.
You can have evidence and the perpetrators there, and you go to torture them again to create evidence on their own. It is wrong. It is against our human rights. It's a violation of our human rights that we sign. It is against the citizens of this country to be beaten, to say things under duress.
You think the police just trying to make up or cover up for their blunder or negligence?
They have created a blunder. Why cover up? They cannot cover up. If you have the evidence to prosecute somebody, send the person to court with the evidence. But it's unfortunate that you arrest somebody at 8 and send to NSA down through to go and beat them, drink to them, just to tell you something about somebody. And evidence you talk about her. Let me say, look for evidence. You don't have the evidence. If you torture people around here to get evidence, when you have the evidence available, let the person go to court. You don't have to torture anybody to get evidence, get something on the person. They never had the evidence available. Let the person go to court. All we thought that after investigations, you have established the facts with evidence, proving evidence that the perpetrators did it and they will go to court. If we try to follow the wrong thing because of partisan fanatics, we'll destroy the country. If we don't stand for the truth to tell our leaders who we have put there and what they are doing is wrong, we are destroying the country slowly. What are you sure that, brother? When you tell the government that it's right, but because it's not your family, and because you think that you set up air condition, they pay you a little no, a month, every month, and you think that they are right to beat on other poor children, try to gather evidence, or to force them to implicate somebody, things that he doesn't know. It's very, very detrimental to this country. It's our challenge to stand up and defend this country, no matter the situation.
According to Widows in Fire, it is important that the Liberian National Police and the National Security Agency desist from the torturing of suspects and forward them to court with all necessary evidence. Fire, at the same time, describes as a total failure the first year of the Bouaka-led government.
You can have evidence and the perpetrators there, and you go to torture them again to create evidence on their own. It is wrong. It is against our human rights. It's a violation of our human rights that we sign. It is against the citizens of this country to be beaten, to say things under duress.
You think the police just trying to make up or cover up for their blunder or negligence?
They have created a blunder. Why cover up? They cannot cover up. If you have the evidence to prosecute somebody, send the person to court with the evidence. But it's unfortunate that you arrest somebody at 8 and send to NSA Dantru to go and beat them, drink to them, just to tell you something about somebody. That the evidence you talk about. That means they're looking for evidence. You don't have evidence. If you torture people around here to get evidence, when you have the evidence available, let the person go to court. You don't have to torture anybody to get evidence, get something on the person. They never had the evidence available. Let the person go to court. All we thought that after investigations, you have established the facts with evidence, proving evidence that the perpetrators did it and they will go to court. If we try to follow the wrong thing because of partisan fanatics, we'll destroy the country. If we don't stand for the truth to tell our leaders who we have put there and what they are doing is wrong, we are destroying the country slowly. What are you sure that, brother? When you tell the government that it's right, but because it's not your family, and because you think that you set up air condition, they pay you a little no, a month, every month, and you think that they are right to beat on other poor children, try to gather evidence, or to force them to implicate somebody, things that he doesn't know. It's very, very detrimental to this country. It's our challenge to stand up and defend this country, no matter the situation.
He's the head of a group under the banner Strategic Journalist Committee of Liberia. They're condemning the alleged torturing of Thomas Etheridge, a worker in the office of Himbagto House Speaker Fonati Kofa. Today's development now, the commissioner of Salala District in Broom County, Kamokanen, has expressed disappointment in Firestone Jetty Rubber LLC companies over what he termed as underbuying of rubber in the country. According to him, these companies are suppressing rubber farmers by buying their rubber for a very low price and thereby making farmers unable to get their just benefits. The Salala District Commissioner also called on the government and Rubber Plantations Association of Liberia to set standards that will put in place measures that will prioritize rubber farmers and increase the price of rubber in the country.
The only challenge we have, and we are prepared at this time to call on national government, there's a need for the government to get involved with the price of rubber. That is the insecurity we have in the area of rubber farmers. Price is not satisfactory to our people. Our rubber farmers have been treated good by Firestone. They are not treated good by RPAL. They are not even treated good by Jetty, who just came yesterday. Jetty have come with a mind like he coming to help, or he had joined the other people to even suppress our people in the rural farming. We want to use this occasion. Myself, I'm a rural farmer. We want to use on this. And we want to, again, put some of the blame on the Ministry of Agriculture. The Ministry of Agriculture is like informing the president on what is happening. But we hope and pray that one day the commander-in-chief of the Republic of Liberia will get to know about what is happening with rural farmers. It is serious and need a serious attention. You will not tell me, say, price in Africa. It is not the price of the international community. Guinea. And you name Sierra Leone, you need a rice. So it means that only Liberia, but because you got people who this president have given responsibility to them to do some work in the rural sector, they are not sincere to the Liberian people because some of them do not have a rural farm. And but those that have a rural farm, or because they're getting kickback from this company, so they keep to suppress the farmers. Look at what happened in quite recent time. Rural, $629. One jetty in his area a few days ago, why the people are going to the Wayne Bridge, only call that is about rural 550 United States.
He's the commissioner of Salala district there speaking. He added that once these measures are instituted, it will compel companies buying rubbers in the country to take appropriate actions that will boost the rubber sector of Liberia. He at the same time vowed that no stone will be left unturned in Salala district as they venture in organizing farmers of the area into cooperative that will boost agricultural activities in that part of the country.
I've just concluded a meeting with the director of communal farm for Salala district. They have showed me that the process of communal farming is all in actions. All of the citizens of Liberia, so that we can commence communal farming. The rest of the agricultural activity, I tell you, our citizens. In fact, there's a pressure now to extend the community for there, for cassava. I went to another community where I see people pressing, you got cool, and everybody's involved in the agriculture sector. I went to another community, see people with cocoa on the nursery, coffee on the nursery, consultations on animal husbandry. I see around, I see cows, and many more to come. In fact, at this office, we have received communications from different people from the diaspora. They want farmland. The demand for farmland, in fact, inside this is high and overwhelming. That shows you that the environment is created. And because the environment is created with a kind of leadership, so with the agricultural activity, we are so happy of our citizens.
He's Kamukona, Commissioner of Salala District in Broom County, speaking. Police in Kakata have charged and forwarded to court 3 men alleged for abusing a corpse. The men are charged for theft of property following their alleged involvement in the damage of a grave. The suspects, identified as Joseph Julu, James Lomo, and Harris Bender, were arrested on January 13, 2025, following reports accusing them of breaking into the grave of one senior number in Delon Farm, Maggie County, January 6, 2025. According to police investigations, the trio allegedly removed jewelry, a pair of shoes, clothing, and private organs from the deceased. Their actions, according to the Liberian National Police, violates Chapter 18 and 15, specifically Section 18.12 and Subchapter D, Section 15.51 of the Reverse Penal Code of Liberia. The suspects have been forwarded to court for prosecution as police continue their efforts to address the disturbing incident. It is now official that former Liberian President George Weah will be in Nimba County this weekend for the funeral and burial of Senator Prince Johnson. Senator Johnson died on November 28th at the age of 72. Former President George Weah said, given the family ties he has with the Johnsons, he cannot stay off the funeral rites of his former Senate colleague, Senator Prince Johnson. According to him, the late senator married to his niece, and he and Senator Johnson share a unique bond of friendship while he was a senator and later became a president. The body of Senator Johnson is now in Nimba County for burial this weekend. Away from Liberia now, Mozambique's new president, Daniel Chapo, has been sworn in at a low-key ceremony in the capital, Maputo, that was made by an opposition boycott following heavily disputed elections. Most businesses in Maputo were shut and the streets largely deserted after defeated presidential candidate Venancio Mondlane called for a national strike in protest. In his first presidential address, Chapo 47 pledged to devote all of his energy to promoting unity and human rights in the nation scarred by post-election violence. A local civil society group says that more than 300 people have been killed in clashes with security forces since elections in October. Chapo won with 65% of the vote, extending the 49-year rule of the Frelimo party. Mondlane, who contested the election as an independent candidate, came second with 24% of the vote. He rejected the results, saying it was rigged and called for a strike on Inauguration Day. Addressing about 2,500 guests at the heavily guarded ceremony, Chapo said, "Together, the nation will rebuild, and patriotism and pride will be the talk of the town in Mozambique." Well, that's all the time we have to be here on King's Newsroom. But just before we leave you, here are stories we closely follow. The executive mansion justifies the indefinite suspension of the chairperson of the National Elections Commission. David Brown Lasana says she was disruptive to public trust and stability, causing series of protests at the commission. Unity Party-led government launches its 5 years, $3.38 billion development plan called the Arrest Agenda in Buchanan-Grand-Basso County, with development partners expected to contribute 70% of that amount. Former Liberian President and War Icon George Weah is expected in Nimba County this weekend for the funeral of Senator Prince Johnson. And away from Liberia, Mozambique's new president, Daniel Chapo, has been sworn in at a low-key ceremony in the capital, Maputo, that was made by an opposition boycott cover that's following heavily disputed elections. Many thanks to all of our contributors, correspondents, and reporters for helping to make this edition of King's Newsroom a success. Stephen Konton was here with the news bulletin. Join us at 6 p.m. this evening for another presentation of King's Newsroom. My name is Cornelius Johnson. I presented. Many thanks for listening and watching. Good afternoon.